Welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. And welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I'm your host, John. This is my co-host, Matt. Matt, say hi.
What is cracking?
We got a doozy for you, folks.
Always a doozy.
It's always a doozy, man. Episode 31. And today...
Redemption.
We've
gone to rehab. We've stopped drinking.
Not completely.
We've gone off the rails.
Last couple episodes, we've gone off the rails a little bit. We had, well, you know, it was Halloween, man. It was
spooky season.
Spooky season.
It was November, but
we always go off the rails. We've been doing this podcast for we're pushing 2 years now.
We've worked a lot of the kinks out, except for human error and human drunkenness.
Yes.
So we're back. We're stronger than ever. Right. We both went to rehab.
And that's not to say that our other episodes weren't good. They're just we know we could have done better. We had our guest Eric. He's crafty on our last one. He was fucking awesome. Yep. We had such a blast talking to him. So go check that out. But yeah, this is episode 31. We're turning a new leaf. It's wintertime, baby. It is cold out.
On that note,
take a shot at tequila, baby.
Take a shot. Let's take a little shot. We might as well.
Absolutely.
What are we talking about here today, Johnny?
We are tackling John Carpenter's The Thing.
One of the most hated movies at the time of all time.
It was, man. Yeah, people did not take kindly to this movie when it first came out. They thought it was phony. That was one of the words I saw. I was like, damn, phony, really?
Don't get it.
And then it grew a cult following, and people realized that it's one of the best practical effect movies of all time.
Still is.
Yeah, it's wintertime, baby. That's why we're starting off with this movie. It's December, so
and it's a banger.
Yeah, it is a banger. And after this, we're gonna get into our holiday episode. But we've been talking about recently. Do we want to start getting into? At the beginning, we were like, let's save the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Let's get into some other episodes till we build up a fan base, and we have a lot of people that listen, monthly. So we do about 2 episodes a month. We try to, and a lot of people do listen. But now we think it's time to bring out the heavy hitters, and this is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're both huge fans of The Thing.
It was in your top 10, our first episode ever.
Yes, it was.
It was not in my top 10, and it's a regret of mine. It would be now. I have much more appreciation for that movie than I did 2 years ago.
Right. All right, let's take the shot first. Get this episode's going.
Shotski. Cheers. Man, it feels good to be back drinking again. I've missed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this movie, a lot of people, I know I used to really put it more towards the sci-fi genre, but I mean, the more you watch it and the more you appreciate it, there's so many horror elements to it, and the practical effects are just unbelievable, man.
Budget was $15 million on this movie. How much do you think it made North America?
Oh, not good. Couldn't have been good.
Break even, less, more.
Maybe a little more.
19.6.
Yeah.
19.6.
Yeah, I could see that, but still considered a box office failure.
Absolutely.
It didn't get bigger until later. I think people started to realize that, oh shit, we're seeing some master work on practical effects here. And especially for its time. And then you have amazing actors, You have Kurt Russell in here.
Wilford Brimley.
Yes. Is it Keith David? What's his name? Guy who played Childs.
Oh yeah, he's dude. That's Goliath. That will always be Goliath.
Great actor.
He will always be Goliath. Yeah, Gargoyles, man.
Yeah. Seriously.
That voice.
Seriously.
Whenever I hear that voice to this day, I see him in movies like he was in The Nice Guys.
Right. He's in a bunch of shit. And
he's in so many movies.
Right.
And he's never like a main character. He's always that side role.
Yeah, Keith David. He played Childs.
Awesome actor.
Yeah, great cast here. The movie's very remote. You know what I mean? It's all pretty much filmed in one spot. Again, why we're doing it in the wintertime is because it has heavy winter elements.
Right.
Yeah. It just makes you your bones kind of shiver when you're watching it too, when it hits this time, especially here in New England. Just makes you feel cold. You know, I wonder why I don't usually watch it until this around this time, but like, man, I should probably watch this in the summer and just
enjoy it,
cool off a little bit, you know. But it just looks so cold, man. It's like -40 there.
Yeah, and it's bone chilling cold here today.
It is, man.
It's been a cold day to here.
What do we got for a temp here? It's 27 degrees right now.
Feel like with the wind though, it's probably like 10.
Yeah,
to 13.
yeah. With wind chill, it's really low, and it's only gonna get worse. That's why we drink, folks. Now
that's why we drink.
Yeah. Anyway, this movie, dude, amazing. Is there a movie that you can put higher than this for practical effects? I'm trying to think. As far as horror movies go,
not in my opinion. This is the gold standard.
There's certain scenes that I think are well. No, I think there's certain scenes in other movies that are just as iconic as a lot of scenes in this movie, but just as collectively as a whole, I don't think you get a better movie than this as far as practical effects go. Like American Werewolf in London.
I was gonna say, is there anything off the top of your head?
You know, the transformation scene in that is pretty legendary, but I mean, it's just one scene. You have that riddled throughout this entire movie.
I mean, Hatchet's also great practical effects. We see some great practical effects in
also
Hatchet.
Done on purpose, as far as, you know,
the cheesiness and corniness of some of the things.
Yeah, I think this movie was done more because it was like, oh shit, low budget, but we can make some crazy shit happen because artistically it's going to look beautiful, you know?
Right.
There's really not much to nitpick about it. A little bit, maybe with the blood. It is like bright red, but it's the early 80s. I mean,
come on.
Yeah,
give me that bright red blood. Honestly, I love
it. Yeah, I mean, fuck it, dude. Especially if there's a lot of it. And I just think with the practical effects, man, and a lot of like animatronic shit, you know, as far as like the heads being pulled off and tentacles and shit.
I don't understand how people like this was a direct quote from the LA Times. It was boring. It was bereft, despairing, and nihilistic, lacking in feeling and meaning. The characters' deaths did not matter. I didn't feel that at all.
It's not true at
watching any of this. Like, I don't get it. What?
No, it's a great story.
It's a great story.
It's a great story.
It's original.
It's thrilling too. It's, you know, the whole point of the movie is, hey, who the fuck is human and who's not?
Right.
I mean, it's brilliant.
And when they're running those tests, I know I'm jumping way ahead here.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most iconic scenes.
Yeah.
In the movie, obviously.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think they were putting out, like, kids' toys with those, like, fucking Petri dishes and, like, little pieces of copper wire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back in the day, I want to say I've seen them.
Oh, when we were younger, I mean, like, creepy crawlers
was
a huge thing where you bake your own gummy worms in those Petri dishes and shit, you know? But, yeah, an iconic part of that movie, you know, where it's like, hey, we're about to find out who's real, who's not.
Right. When he's going to do Childs, especially. Yeah. And then when John's like, let me out of this, motherfucker.
Because there's some heat there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of racist tension there.
There is.
You know,
well, they build it from the beginning.
They do.
They say, hey, like, he's, you know, nothing really racial, but just
I was kind of.
Just more of like he's, you know, he's not exactly one to think. He's not a character to like think before he acts.
No, he's a hothead.
Exactly. So I think that's the thing where, you know, they hold the knife up to him and they're like, hey, you're not going to be leader. We need someone a little more level-headed than that. You know?
And I love how Kurt Russell just fucking takes it. Like nobody votes. This isn't a democracy, motherfucker.
Oh no, right.
You know, and
it's like, I'm lead role, bitch.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm Kurt motherfucking Russell.
And again, I mean, this movie's an alien movie.
Yeah,
right?
Love it.
I mean, it's based off The Thing from Another World, if I'm not mistaken, which was an older movie. Because I think it's Dr. Copper that's in that movie as well, right?
I'm not sure. I know the novel was Who Goes There or
something like that, and I think The Thing from Another World was based on that as well. Same type of story, anyway. Yeah, I mean, just interesting. I mean, obviously, Alien itself and Aliens are great alien movies. Do you consider this like in the category of that? Like, it's such a great horror sci-fi
extraterrestrial
movie.
Absolutely
Right, but like if you're judging from an alien movie standpoint, like, is it up there, or do you consider it like, I'm not going to put it in there because it's such a good horror movie?
I would put it there.
You would.
I mean, what's the opening scene? Everybody thinks the opening scene is the dog running through.
It's
no, it's not. It's a spaceship.
That's the only like CGI they really use,
and it's terrible. Yeah, it is terrible.
It's horrible.
I mean, it was almost like that
sci-fi is
right. It's almost like that was an afterthought, and that like they filmed the entire movie, and then they were like, okay, let's. And I don't know if this is true or not.
Right.
But it's almost like they watched the entire movie, and then they were like, okay, let's add, we have this cool computer program, and we have a spaceship that can come flying in and crash into Earth, and it'll kind of set everything up. But then we'll have this wolf/dog running through the barren wasteland of Antarctica.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know what I mean?
I wonder if that like scene, like computer with the computers, actually took a long time. Like, we're gonna put that in. We're gonna put that in later because it's gonna be all post production. It's gonna be this huge thing.
Well, it was $4 million of the budget. Just kidding.
I mean, it could have been. I don't even know.
Who fucking knows, dude?
This is late, early. It was
82.
82,
yeah, 82, yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, I don't necessarily put it in my top alien movies.
Really?
Yeah, just because not because it isn't.
Okay.
Like, it's more of just because I have it in like a different category.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like.
So you don't consider this an alien movie?
No, I definitely do. It's just I have it like I have it in other
genres,
lists,
right? Yeah,
other lists. You know what I mean? Like, it's in my top 10 horror movies,
right? Absolutely.
It's kind of like Halloween is still in my top 10 horror movies, but it's like it's not. I think it's Halloween's completely iconic, but like I don't put it at the top. Right. Because it to me, it's like one of the top slashers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I kind of leave it off the top, maybe it's in my top 5 now. I don't know. But there's just that I don't consider it like this because it is an alien movie, but it's not.
Okay, top alien movie,
Probably Alien.
It's probably Alien.
But then for me, like, I get kind of weird with
you know
like,
what else?
I love The Fourth Kind, dude.
I love The Fourth Kind too, but
you know what I mean?
but I think if you're talking about alien movies, not horror movies or sci-fi,
right?
If you're talking about true alien movies, there is nothing that gets me going. You want to talk about aliens? Like Independence Day.
Yeah,
you give me Bill Pullman standing up on a fucking crate.
Right.
Rousing the fucking troops, man. Like, that's.
Yeah, so there's this weird, like, these lists. There's these different lists. So all I'm saying is, like, The Thing necessarily isn't
and
up
great
there with,
aliens in that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Great aliens in Independence Day. And I'm even a sucker for Independence Day, too. I know it was kind of a flop. But still, no Will Smith. I liked it. Good movie.
Yeah, it's nostalgic.
It was enjoyable.
Manner. Yeah, so The Thing is, like, I don't consider it, like, it's not that I don't consider it an alien movie, because it is 100%. Right. But, like, I just have other alien movies that are, like, strictly alien based.
Prometheus.
Like The Fourth Kind, I just really love that movie. It's really creepy to me.
And you've always loved Signs.
Signs, I really like Signs. Yeah. Even with like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Close Encounters and everything like that. So it's kind of weird to put it in there because if you do it, it's almost like it automatically goes to the top. And like I don't want to do that when I'm talking about alien movies. So that's kind of why I say that. But just in general, I mean, this is in my top 10
What about Arrival with Charlie Sheen? Have you ever seen that alien movie?
The newer movie?
No. It's called
old movie.
It's an older movie.
I don't think I've seen it.
They kind of stole the name.
Oh, okay.
But Charlie Sheen is in it, and it's like they're skinwalkers essentially.
Mm-hmm.
They're walking around like normal people, and their legs will like crack back like grasshoppers. Dude.
Oh shit!
It's actually a very good movie. If you ever get a chance to watch it, very good.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check.
I love Charlie Sheen, that cokehead.
Yeah, too. But anyway, yeah, like so I just consider I put The Thing in the category of just straight up horror, a little sci-fi here and there, but I mean with the special effects it doesn't get any better. There's no horror movie that's even better than this as far as special effects or practical effects go.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit, man. That ending with the dinosaur looking fucking
Yeah.
Now, here's something to think about. Do you think that was because obviously this thing is a shapeshifter, an imitator.
Right.
It consumes its victim and then can imitate it perfectly. Mm-hmm. So at the end, we get this giant, weird, beastly-looking creature. And then we also have the 2011 prequel that came out.
Sequel, dude. Sequel, prequel.
Right,
it's
right.
A sequel, prequel.
But it's a prequel.
But it was a sequel.
Yeah, but every prequel is a sequel, technically.
Technically.
There's no prequel, or it would have been the first movie, right? So that's what the prequel is.
And I love how they hide it till the end.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's a good idea.
And it's not a great movie. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Is it a great movie? No. Is it worth watching? If you're a fan of the 1982 film, great.
Yeah. Right.
Watch it. And if you haven't seen it, shit. It's a prequel. Spoiler alert, it's a prequel. Well,
2011,
but you don't know until the end.
Right, you see the dog.
You see the dog, and that's
great
where...
idea.
Great idea.
And
I want to watch that one again because I've only watched that one a couple times.
Yeah, I wish I would have watched it before this time.
Me too. But like the clothing, all that stuff, you don't notice it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they do kind of match things up.
Yeah.
But it's not so noticeable because they're out in the fucking barren fucking wasteland of Antarctica. So you're not thinking they're wearing North Face fucking
reboot, almost.
You think it's a reboot,
right?
In a sense, and they do throw it back to a lot of the things like the, the ice being cut out,
right,
where they find
if
it.
You're not like completely familiar. It's almost like that movie was made to like get people to watch the original. You know.
Agreed. Yep. Agreed.
Pretty cool idea, but. And even then, you know, when they take it out of the ice in that movie, you see the creature in whatever form it's in, right?
Right.
And then at the end of the 82, the original version, you see this monstrous, almost dinosaurish looking creature. Now, here's a question. What do you think at any time between the original thing and the 2011 version that we see its original form?
No.
Right? Because...
I don't think so. Do you?
No, because if this thing is...
It's always taken form to everything else.
Right. And you would think that if it's coming to harvest our planet or whatever, that it's done this. And I think they mention it in the thing. Like, they say that this thing has probably bounced around and has taken over planets.
Right.
Consumed planets and then moved on to the next. So, like, even if you see its original form, is it really its original form? Because it's probably... taking the form of some other species. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I wonder what if it's almost like this could be a franchise.
We'll get it. I was just going to say, we'll get it at some point.
It almost feels like it could be.
Okay, 2011 was a flop, but it made
probably the original.
Probably double the money.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure.
Right.
But I'd say probably like 30 or 40 million.
Right.
Because you had all the old thing fans that wanted to go and see it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You had that cult following that wanted to see this sequel, prequel, but they didn't know it was a prequel at the time.
No, because they fooled you.
They did fool you, and they did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
Like, so.
And they did what they're doing now with everything, which I kind of hate. Because, like, they just called it The Thing.
Right.
Which now you guys see that they're doing that with, like, Scream. Scream 5 is just Scream. Right? It's like, and like Halloween 2018 was just Halloween. But no one calls it, like why call it that? Because people are just going to refer to it as something different. No one says like, oh man, I love Halloween. Oh, well, what are you talking about? The original or the 2018? We call Halloween 2018 Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
We don't call it Halloween, even though the original name is just Halloween.
Right.
It's going to be the same thing with Scream. The new Scream's coming out. It's just called Scream. No one's going to call it that. It's going to be Scream 5.
It's going to be Scream 5. Okay.
But they were the first to do it, really, with like just The Thing.
Yeah. Budget for the 2011 movie, $38 million.
Wow. So double.
Box office.
A little more than double.
You got a guess?
56.
31.5.
And what? So it did. So they didn't even make it.
They didn't even make the money back. So the budget $38 million, box office $31.5 million.
Damn. I actually thought it was pretty good, man. It was better than that.
It was considered a commercial flop.
Definitely. So was the original, but it at least made money.
It made money.
But I don't think the Thing 2011 is that bad.
I don't think it's that bad either.
I think it should have made... I think if that came out now, people would have way more appreciation for it. No one ever talks about that movie.
No, they don't.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about the original. But it just does tie in because I would like to know what this thing actually looks like. Like, this thing's an imitation. It's taken so many forms. Does it have an original form? Could you do that in a newer movie? Not them saying that they should, but this could have been a franchise. It just wasn't.
Still could.
And like,
still could be.
I think another thing was like people said it was boring because the ending is so ambiguous.
No.
But like,
okay.
And there's a lot of theories to that ending.
I was just gonna ask you.
Right.
I don't think anybody believes that MacReady was.
No. But
Childs. I feel like where he disappeared. Oh, I ran off to see.
Right.
I thought I saw him. I got lost in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
We don't know if Wilford Brimley infected Childs. Mm-hmm. We don't know that.
Right. But we do know that MacReady, he gets passed because of the blood test.
Exactly. Well, no, they both got passed because of the blood test, but after that, all the stuff happens. So then he leaves Childs in charge of...
But you never see MacReady... You see MacReady after that, right? Like,
yeah.
So the blood test does pass him to a certain extent, but then Childs goes missing.
Yeah, after his blood test, because he was cleared too.
Exactly.
He puts Childs in charge of watching the whole station while they go out and find the old man.
And he's missing for a little bit, like he's off screen for quite a while.
And they see him come out of the They see him come out of the building. Well, why is he outside? Why the fuck is he outside? Yeah. And they did it for that reason.
Yeah.
Because they knew where the ending was going to end up.
Right.
They knew it was going to be MacReady and Childs, and they were going to be sitting there drinking a bottle.
Exactly.
At the end of it, and both of them, or maybe just Childs, was going to be the one who everybody looked at and said, is this motherfucker going to freeze to death out here and then spread it?
Right.
Which I kind of... Dude, he's still alive. He's still alive. I mean, why not?
That's what I'm saying. Is
why not?
Maybe was there a plan?
Let's do this thing one more time. Let's do this thing one more fucking time. Kurt Russell's still here.
But do you think that was the plan? They shot a bunch of different endings to this movie. They shot like... I don't know how many it was, but they shot a bunch of different alternate endings where MacReady actually Kurt Russell gets rescued. It gets brought back where now everything's safe and sound and you don't have to do another one. But do you think there was a plan to do another one? And it was such a flop that maybe John Carpenter kept it to himself and was like, okay, we're not going to do another one.
Yeah, he hated that everybody hated it.
Right. Well, here's the other... There's a bunch of theories at that end because, first of all, it does seem there is a theory that Childs came out in some different clothing as well. Also,
did he?
There was
well, but he wasn't he wasn't dressed up like that when he was inside the building, so he could have had a winter jacket on that we
he
wouldn't
could have put it on.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense, but there's another theory as well that there was actually word from John Carpenter. Now it's just in theory. This has never been proven.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find this interesting because I watched that last scene very carefully, and he shot it like it's heavily backlit, right?
Everything's on fire.
The scene itself is heavily backlit. So what you notice is when MacReady's talking, his breath is showing a lot because the scene is heavily backlit. Childs, no breath at all. 0 breath, actually. So you have MacReady talking, and smoke is almost, steam
billowing out of his mouth,
pouring out of his mouth. You almost can't see Kurt Russell's face. And John Carpenter was in theory, or supposedly, allegedly had said, I don't know why people think it's so ambiguous that they don't know who was not human.
If one of them was infected.
Because MacReady is clearly breathing and Childs is clearly not breathing. Now, this is debunked to an extent because if you see before the blood tests and things like this, other characters, Palmer, the doctors,
Copper. Right?
Yeah, they were actually breathing as well, and they were infected. So it does debunk. It does debunk it, but it is cool to think about. And I don't know if it was just a fuck up.
Well, no, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Right.
Okay, so if that's the running theory, let's just say it is.
Yeah,
okay?
It is a theory.
Okay, if that's a running theory, those other guys who we saw the breath, they were fully transformed.
Right.
We don't know if how long ago we can't see Child's arms or his feet in that scene. Right. We don't know if he's got tentacles fucking hanging out.
No, yeah, we have no idea.
So he might not even be fully fucking.
We don't know, people.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. So it is a weird thing because if you do watch that scene, it's either a major fuck up where they were inside and they just didn't do Keith David's breath,
right?
Because they're in negative 40-degree weather,
right?
Or John Carpenter meant to do it. So and all this talk from this quote from Carpenter is alleged. Like, I don't think there's anywhere that actually states this. I don't think anybody can find this quote. Because if they did, that's it. You know that Childs was... He was not human, if that quote is true, him saying that. But it's not. I've never seen it. I've only researched it and found that. It's on Reddit a few times. Mm-hmm. But, so there is a little bit of debunking, but there's also... That is an interesting theory. Because the movie does end very ambiguously. It's just gone. There's fire and it's over. Right?
Right. I love it, though. I
just wonder if he meant to do another one. This is just my theory. If he was like, hey, the practical effects are amazing. We haven't seen anything like this in horror before, or just a few times, especially not throughout the entire movie. This much blood and this much disgust and slime and shit like that.
What was your favorite?
Not to mention killing a bunch of dogs, which never happens.
I was just going to say, that was my favorite scene in the movie.
I think my favorite is... No, I can't remember his name, but it's when they're doing the blood test. Mm-hmm. And at the end, he just starts shaking.
Yeah.
And he goes to the roof.
Yeah.
And his head starts... squirming out.
Yeah.
And he goes to the roof and then he drops down and his whole skull just opens up. Oh, yeah. Dude, I love that scene.
Also, the clear.
Yes.
The hands in the stomach.
That originally was my favorite scene. When is it Copper? Is that Dr. Copper?
Yeah, that's Copper.
Yeah. When he goes in and it just falls through.
Yeah.
Clamps his hand.
Unbelievable.
Because what they did is you can notice for a second that it's actually not him. Because they actually put in someone who didn't have arms. So it's for a split second you can be like, oh shit, that's not. I can't remember his name. He actually went to Coney.
Oh god.
Yeah, he went to my high school, by the way.
I hate this.
I think it's Dr. Copper. He was in the reason I say that I think The Thing is the original was The Thing from Another World because he was in The Thing from Another World.
Oh.
Back in I think it was the 60s or 60s. I think it was the 60s.
Did he have the nose ring?
He did not.
What do you think about the nose ring?
Interesting, because in 2011 they make it so. Oh, here's another thing that debunks the Childs thing. Childs has earrings, and now it doesn't debunk it necessarily as far as John Carpenter goes, but in the universe of The Thing, in the original or in the 2011 version, they say that this thing spits out any jewelry and earrings that it has on. Right. And Child still has earrings in. So
that's almost like simpatico with. I know we always come back to it, but the Langoliers,
right?
Where they can't take up jewelry or a pacemaker or
and they leave it all behind,
and everything's left behind.
It was the same thing they did in the 2011. Like they spit out nose rings, earrings, anything metal, or they leave it behind. They can't consume that. They can't. It's only physical beings that they can imitate. So like anything else goes away.
Yeah.
So like if Copper would have, I'm pretty sure it's Copper. It's Dr. Copper for sure. If he would have survived and got taken over with everybody else instead of just absolutely dying right there, his nose ring
would have been gone.
In theory, in theory with the 2011 version, but So in that universe, if you're putting those movies together, then like Child's earrings should have.
So maybe that answers the question. They were both human.
Well,
they both,
I don't think it does because John Carpenter, I don't think had anything to do with the 2011 version. So I think that's just something that they created to be in the universe. Like it wasn't what John Carpenter wanted. So John Carpenter originally might have said, "Hey, he is, he's not human. He's the guy."
Right.
Or he might have just said, "Hey, I'm just going to leave it up to you because that's how I want the movie to end, and maybe I want to do another one." And then it flopped so bad, he was like, "Oh fuck, I can't do it."
I will never do it. But dude, he could now. He could
now. Absolutely.
That's a thing.
Like
he could.
That was the other thing. I don't know if he did the score for this one.
Because I don't know.
It wasn't great.
Dude, I love it.
But it's sci-fi. Yeah. It's not like a lot of music, like his other, The Fog and Halloween and those movies.
Right.
But imagine now what he could do. Oh, if he did a sequel. If he did a sequel in like the mid '80s for this, Kurt Russell, or even if you pushed it more and Kurt Russell survives and.
Well, we could still do.
Yeah, you could do one now. You could do
Kurt
present
Russell
day.
and Childs could still be alive.
You could do
right
present
now.
Day. You could do present day.
I'm a little worried us talking about this that we're gonna jinx it because last time we started talking about doing a sequel with all the original cast, Sydow dies, Max von Sydow dies, and now they're making a fucking remake of The Exorcist
3. I can't wait to tackle The Exorcist. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the thing.
I'm just saying.
We're trying to.
We're gonna give it the jinx, and Kurt Russell or Childs is dead within the next 6 months.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Mark my fucking words.
Let's drink to them not dying.
Yeah.
No, not do that. Take it back.
Here's to that.
Such a brilliant movie, though, man.
It is, and I really enjoy it.
We talked a little bit about it with Eric, and
it feels long, but it's not like you want it to end.
No,
do you know what I mean?
And it's not even really slow either.
No, it's not. It's not slow.
There's a lot of questions
but there are so many scenes that you keep thinking, okay, we're coming to an end here. We're coming to a close. Right. We're coming to a conclusion, and then another person's dead. Another person's dead. Another person's dead. And it's just like it keeps going and going and going. And then you finally end it and it's like, oh man, I kind of wish we were still going.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, for me, I know I keep going back to it, but the practical effects are just so amazing.
That's what this movie is.
We were talking about it with He's Crafty, Eric. We were saying, hey, like, it still looks, it got better. Like the movie made shit money, and then it got better. And it still lives up.
I wish I really knew what they spent on the practical effects.
Now it's like the CGI is like CGI, and then 3 years later the CGI is better, so those movies look shit.
Right.
But with practical effects, it's like this movie actually started off, people thought it looked phony and fake, and now it's gotten better compared to CGI,
Right.
Are you looking up to see how much that costs?
I want to see it.
Yeah, I would love to know that fact, actually. He's looking up, folks, just to see how much they actually spent of that. Was it $15-point-something million?
Yeah, 15.
How much they spent on the practical effects for that? Because you got animatronics.
How much do you think out of a $15 million budget? How much of that was spent on
1.5?
Can you see through this fucking thing? $1.5 million.
I don't think so. Did I hit it right on the head? And you know what's funny is I actually lowballed myself because I was hoping that it would be more.
$1.5 million.
That's crazy. Imagine what you could do. Imagine if John Carpenter...
The budget for practical effects today would be $15 million.
Definitely. But, oh man, that's such a bummer. Like...
That is unbelievable. I almost
want a sequel to this.
We need it.
Like I don't want it, but I want it just to see if but keep it practical.
And Carpenter has to be the man.
Just to see what he
I want to
do,
bring back the old crew.
Yeah,
I mean,
just to see what he would do, man, would be so fucking cool. Even if you did, no, you'd have to do it present day probably. And at least one of them survives, right?
Well, you'd have to do it present day because they're both old as shit
right. Now, do you think if they were to make another thing, do you think they would do a sequel or do you think they would do a prequel?
Do you think...
Could you go more sci-fi?
Were you shocked?
Kind of like Prometheus did with Alien? Could you go even more sci-fi?
I would love it. I would love it.
And maybe put this thing... back to when it crash landed, why it crash landed, Could you do that and show its original form or whatever form it was in before? Could you do that? Would you do that?
I would.
Would you do that before a sequel to the original?
I'd rather see a sequel.
Yeah,
I want to see a sequel, and I want
to do the sci-fi era,
and I'd love to see it. And weird that Tom Atkins, a favorite of
Christ, here we go.
of Carpenter, was
Atkins,
not in this movie because he was in Hollywood. He had the nickname,
but then
The Thing.
But then you had
that was his nickname, The Thing.
Look up. When was The Fog made? Was it 84?
It was just after that, probably, yeah. Or just before it. Was it 81?
Oh, that would be interesting. Just because it seemed like Kurt Russell was the man, right? Like,
yeah, he probably wouldn't do it with him.
But it seemed like Tom Atkins was also older at that point too. So like he doesn't fit that McRady role, right? Like,
oh no, right.
Like he had to go with Kurt in that situation.
Well, he had a relationship with Kurt Russell too, and he still had,
of course,
Escape
from New York, all that stuff. Right. Yeah, and he also reminds me of like
Have they ever been in a movie together? Atkins and
I'm not sure. Probably not, because then Kurt kind of took off, but
there's two big dicks on set. But you know what I mean?
It's true. It's like whose is bigger, bro? Right. Jesus. But like Kurt kind of did some other shit other than he didn't go the horror route like Atkins
he didn't.
did more. But but John put those those Kurt Russell characters, like they live like with Roddy Piper, you know what I mean? Those same types of characters, Macho Man, yeah. Right. I kind of love that shit. Fuck, that's hilarious.
That's kind of a dying breed. No, I don't want to say a dying breed because you still have your like John Wicks or James Bonds but Hollywood has moved away from
the Macho Man
type of.
Well, besides like. I mean,
and you're not seeing.
John Wick, you do have The Rock,
but
okay.
I was gonna say the muscle man, like Stallone, Schwarzenegger.
They still keep it in like action movies, I guess, to an extent, but they're still not as good as what they used to be, right?
Oh no,
like with the long
Rambo,
the long flowing hair, Rambo, and the beards and shit,
Fucking Commando with fucking Schwarzenegger or Predator,
but Carpenter did...
Predator, Alien movie,
yeah, great movie.
Where does that rank in your Alien movies?
Very, very high.
Very, very high.
Just the first one, though.
I agree. Just
the first one. But great movie. But it's more action.
The muscle mass alone in that movie. Carl Weathers, fucking Jesse Ventura.
A lot of veins, brother.
Lots of veins, brother.
Okay, we're getting off topic. We're about to end this shit.
Jeez.
Yeah, we're about 40 minutes in now, so we'll call it there. We appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Like we said before, our short film Worm is out for viewing. You can find that on our YouTube page as well. Follow us on Instagram at New England HOH, that's New England Home of Horror, or at To Kill a Monster, that's 2, the number 2, Kill a Monster.
Yeah, and I gotta get a rank.
Tequila Monster.
And I gotta get a rank. Give me a number rank on this movie. I'm gonna go 8.2.
Oh yeah, this is high. 8.5 probably, since I had it in my top 10.
Gotta be.
Right. Yeah. Great movie. It's just unstoppable, man, in every sense of the word. The story's great, the practical effects are great, the acting's great.
Yep.
Could they have done a better? I think they did some goofs here and there on some stuff. I didn't like a lot of like the still fadeaway scenes. It's like they're looking and then it would just freeze and it would fade out.
Right. But that was fine. The era.
Right. Absolutely. I'm not even if that's the only knock you have on a movie, man.
Absolutely. Cutaway scenes.
Absolutely.
I'll take it.
Absolutely. Yeah, if I could say anything bad, that would be it. Other than that, I liked the score. I thought it could have been a little better, but whatever. That's nothing to. I think it could have. I think there could have been some really cool sounds and effects when these things were changing and turning and stuff like that. I didn't love not even just the score, but like the sound effects. I think the sound quality could have been better. Like as far as like what these things, the crunching and the grinding of bone and shit like that.
Right.
But they did the best they could. So there's really no knock on this movie for me. It's really high up.
Love it.
And we're gonna do at the end of the year. We're gonna do our top 10 again. So we'll see where those rank again. We'll listen to our old episode and we'll rank all these again and see where we stand. But overall, fucking fantastic film, guy.
Yeah, love this one,
Bub. Fantastic film.
Love this one.
Holy fuck, guy. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to doing more episodes soon. We're gonna have a holiday episode coming up.
Yeah, what are we gonna do, man?
I don't even know yet, but it's gonna be baller, bro. Because I'm excited for the holiday season. I always am. And yeah, I love you guys, and I love you, bro.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Cool.
We're
Cheers,
back
guys.
on the wagon. Cheers. May the power of Christ compel you.
Almost forgot about it. Love it, bro.
Cheers.
Home of horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Home of horror, the Home of Horror podcast. So that's your third Stephen King?
Don't start with me, dude.
I bet they spent less than $50,000 on that movie.
$252,000.
Oh wow, really? Home of horror, home of